What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the All Things Considered Disc Golf podcast, where we consider all things disc golf. I am your host, Jacob, joined as always, this time virtually, by Cameron. Cameron, let the people know what we're going to be talking about and also where the heck you are right now.
Yeah, so, well, to get that out of the way, I'm in Colorado. This is not for 50 states or anything like that. We'll be talking about the 50 state stuff later. This is just like a mini vacation. But we're going to be talking about MVP's Open at Austin. Went down this week. A lot of controversy, a lot of big news coming from that, both MPO and FPO sides. We had a local tourney go down with a few of OMD guys with some really good finishes. And then again, like I just said, we're going to wrap it up with 50 states because it's time for me to go back out. So let's get into it. Open at Austin. I feel like we normally start with the FPO. Do we want to start with the MPO though? Because I feel like the FPO has more news.
Yeah, that's good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. I get that.
Yeah. So MPO here, and for it was 2 rounds at Sprinkle Valley, 2 rounds at Harvey Pinnock, I believe is what it's called.
hmm
Is
hmm
it the first Elite Plus of the year?
First Elite Plus of the year, four
Yeah.
round, 4 day
First four
tourney.
rounder, there were cuts. We'll talk about those as well because there were some kind of big names that missed cut. But we've got Niklas Antila winning back to
Taking
back,
it down. Taking it down.
winning in a playoff against Kyle Klein, who, as much I'm not, again, we talked about this earlier. I'm not a big Kyle Klein guy. I've had personal like interactions with him that I wasn't like super big on, but those were like a few years ago now. But he played some really, really good golf. But Niklas ended up taking it down.
Yeah, kind of not like out of nowhere to me, but I just like he was on the obviously the feature card day one because he's the previous champion.
Hmm.
But and he played like fine, but just the way people were playing that day at Sprinkle Valley, particularly I think it was the calmest day conditions wise.
Yeah.
But I mean you had 12, 12, 10, 10 was like the ending. That was lead card the next day. And Niklas shot like 7 or 8. And I'm like, okay, that was still a good round, but it
Yeah.
seemed like that's not going to be the pace to like compete.
Right.
Obviously, rounds cooled off as conditions changed and also changing venue as well. But yeah, kind of a surprise for me, at least, to see him like actually make a push to win. I thought he'd stay right around the top five area, but to make the final push, that was pretty cool. And in a playoff, nonetheless.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Playoff is always great. And I unfortunately I've been traveling, so I didn't get to watch either of the Harvey Pinnock rounds, but I watched both Sprinkle Valley rounds. That course is a beast. If you can't hit lines,
brutal.
you don't stand a chance out there. It's
Yeah.
unreal how hard that course looks. But I watched especially I think it was round two maybe or maybe it was round one. But I mean, Niklas looked good. Like
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
mids to fairways and just pure, but
hmm
he's so good. He doesn't throw many forehands, so he's so good at like the backhand turnover game, which was
hmm
if you don't have a forehand, then obviously you need that. But that was big out there. So I mean, good for him. I mean, I guess you can't not see that coming after he won it last year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Very different courses, very different layouts.
but
Not Harvey Pennick, but
there was a ton of guys that played really, really good golf that you don't normally see up there, I feel like. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And
sure.
honestly, like at least what this is our third event of the year.
hmm
I mean, Niklas, as far as contention goes, Niklas hasn't been in contention yet. Kyle Klein hasn't. Gannon hasn't, and he podiumed for the first time this year, which is kind of crazy to
Yeah.
say that.
He'd barely been finishing in the top 10. Well, he finished outside the top 10 in week
Yeah,
one, I think.
yeah. Ezra had a big final round. He shot 12 down final round, which I
Yeah.
think ties the hot round to bump up to fourth
Yeah.
place. So that was good. I mean,
Yeah.
AB, Adam, Sullivan Tipton, top 10 finish there. Paul Macbeth had, dude, he was so close to being like back, almost officially. So I think it was it round three? I think he shot the hot round at 12 down, and I think the conditions must have been bad because I think the next hottest round below him was five under or was five below that, so it was 7 down.
Wow.
But I think it ended up being like 1095 rated. It was like it was the Macbeth you want to see, you know what I mean?
Oh, my days. Yeah, I heard about it, but okay, I'm sorry. That's a thing we got to get into in a second. That was not Paul Macbeth, but sorry, I just had a reaction to a score that I was like, what? Yeah, sorry. We'll get into that in a second, though.
Sure.
Yeah, Paul Macbeth, love to see him finish in the top 10 there. There were a lot of names that like I love that I'm seeing them there. Like there's a young group that's like about to make a push, I think.
Yeah.
Uh And I like seeing
Absolutely.
them finishing where they are because like Sullivan Tipton finished seventh, finished right, tied with Paul McBeth. Then you got what's his name? I always get them confused, but Evan Smith in particular was
Evan
playing
Smith
really, really
was a
well, and then
smash
just had a
guy,
what?
or is he dynamic now? I think Evan Smith is dynamic now.
Maybe. I don't know. But
Evan
he
Scott is Discraft.
yeah, Evan Smith had a really, really good week and had a really, really good week last week as well at Waco. But Evan Smith was playing so good. Like first three rounds were incredible. Was like not necessarily in contention to win, but like could have gotten top 10 very
Oh, yeah.
easily. He finished tied 22nd though. He finished one over in his last round. Last round was 986 rated.
Oof.
So last round kind of ate his lunch there a bit. He started
Yeah.
out bogey, par, double bogey, bogey, double bogey in the first five. So he was six over through five holes.
Yeah, I think
It's just a
everyone's ready to get out
tough
of
way to
Texas.
start. Yeah, it's a tough way to start. But yeah, other than that, Eric Oakley, a little top 22. Like he played
I would
pretty
like to
well
know that that very well could be his highest finish in a
in a
long
few years
time.
for sure.
No
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
disrespect, but
Gavin Babcock got a tied 12th. So there were just
yeah,
some names that haven't been winners yet that were kind of up near the top. So I enjoyed that aspect. I thought that was good.
yeah.
Are we talking about hole 18 yet or no?
We can because it kind of got the MPO guys. There were obviously guys that birdied it, but there
I mean,
were.
to say the least.
You got stats on it for me?
I would love to display some. I mean, I'm just going to go through the top guys, the top players. So I'll just go through the top five and see what they got on that hole.
Sure.
Uh, Nicolas Antela in round one got a bogey. In round two, he got a birdie. So he played even on that hole.
That's yeah.
Calvin Klein went birdie, birdie, really good. Gannon went bogey, bogey. So he went two over on that hole. Ezra Robinson went birdie, birdie. Honestly, not that weird for me though. Like that just fits his vibe that he would like do that.
Yeah.
But if I go down here to my good friend Calvin Heimberg, this was my reaction that I had. Because
Yeah.
after round one, I saw where he like his second round was so good. Like he jumped like 70 something spots. I was like,
Yeah.
man, he was like way at the bottom. Calvin Heimberg shot two over in round one. That's 987 rated. However, he only took one bogey. He had six birdies, but he took a +7 on hole 18 in round one.
Yeah.
That's a 12 for those of you that are counting at home. He took a 12 on hole 18.
Can you get like actual whole stats? Like
I'm
how
sure
much
I
over
can.
par it was the both rounds? Because I have that for FPO.
You mean like how much it averaged over par?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I can find that. Here, start talking about FPO while I look for it.
Yeah, FPO is definitely kind of other than the playoff there. I didn't see how it ended, but it was only one hole, so I assume Niklas threw a good shot, Kyle threw a bad shot, and it was over. So, but moving on to FPO because this is like I feel like the real storyline of the weekend. Holland Hanley takes it down. A lot of people are kind of like, well, if it wasn't for hole 18, that Kristen would win it. However, my first thought before we really get into hole 18 was that everyone played the hole. You know what I mean? You had your opportunities to shoot well or shoot super, super bad. She shot, I believe she shot, let me look at the stats here, bad, just not as bad as everyone else. So, I mean, yeah, where's she at here? Yeah, she took a nine in round two, and she took a six in round one. So, I mean, still not good. But when you compare it to the people that were getting 11s, 12s, 13s, absolutely brutal. So, I mean, obviously, congratulations to take down anything against Kristen Tatar, who only ended up losing by one. She had a bad tee shot on hole 18 that kind of put her out of birdie range because Holland shanked hers first. And so Kristen had a chance to throw a good shot and kind of get after it a little bit, but apparently she also threw not a great shot. So kind of took birdie out, but still, I think Kristen was six back. Yeah, six back going into the final round and ended up losing by one. However, let's just go to Kristen's stats real quick. Where's she at? She took an 11 in round one, and she took a 10 in round two. So she shot 11 over on hole 18 alone.
Kristen did.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's tough because I can kind of feel both ways.
Is it all just from going over the stairs to like get to the island? She like missed the island, had to keep throwing. Like, or is she going out of bounds off the tee? Like, is there any
So
other OB?
basically, here's what I noticed from like the majority of the FPO. They would throw the drive off the tee. It may go out of bounds. It may not. They throw their second. It may go out of bounds. It may not. There's a lot of OB. But on their third shot, regardless, they're playing to the island. They would probably miss it, move up to those stairs, and then proceed to miss it like two more times. And then they would kind of Simon the hole at what was that?
Yeah, and just throw it over.
They
That's why
just threw it
I was so
over so you
confused how
could
these
take.
big numbers were happening. Because it's like if you cross in bounds, you go to the drop zone, just launch a disc.
Yeah, yeah, and that's kind of what they did, but it's tough too because the basket I think was like 10 feet off the front of like
Sure.
their little, island or
Or
whatever.
it was definitely closer to the front of the island.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah.
you got to be a little touchier there. But yeah, yeah, they would throw like up to the island like two or three times out of bounds. They're throwing 10, so they just throw it as hard as they can over the basket. Goes OB deep by like 100 feet, and then they just lay up, tap in their 13 or whatever. So it's pretty brutal. And there's a lot of people that say it's a bad hole. I mean, I, I could see that if you're best in the
Yeah.
world, but at the same time, there were people that birdied it, FPO and MPO, so it is possible. I think Sullivan tipped it because he threw in and birdied it, but like it is very possible, and I don't think it was like necessarily a bad hole. It's certainly tough, obviously, but the wind in Texas is like ungodly, so that
Hmm.
that obviously doesn't help anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the hard part for me there with that, at least on the wind argument, is that like they were in the middle of the woods, like the tee shot, not the tee, but like once you're throwing over to the island, you're in the middle of the woods.
Well,
Like
I
there's
mean,
trees everywhere.
it's
I'm
it's
not saying that just eliminates the wind, but
yeah, there's trees, but like even like watching uh it was like Kristen and Sarah Hokum and Rebecca Cox are like the ones I remember. But like they would throw the disc on hyzer and like it would like flip up, flip up, flip up, it's just like catching the wind and then like as soon as it would get over, it would just like spike straight down and it's nowhere close. Like Sarah Hokum threw so many shots at the basket, but it's just the wind was just like killing the disc. So, I mean, that
mm,
definitely did play a factor, but the way I was explaining it, like when I was watching it, was like if you're, because I don't even know if you saw this or heard this, Kristen Tatar, after round two, was walking to the island after I think she made it or was going to the drop zone. She was crying.
oh man, I
Yeah,
did not know
like
that.
actually crying. And so in my head, I'm like, if you have a hole that makes the outright world number one break down in tears, something something might be up. You know what I mean? But it's I don't know.
I
It's
mean, there's a
kind of
lot, there's
crazy.
so many factors to that. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, just even down to like what her day was like that day could have factored into like how she responded to obviously then like a really poorly played hole. Like,
Yeah,
little if she birdied, she's not going to cry, and she like obviously had it within her capacity to do so. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. Well, and I do know, and it's just tough because I mean, especially after round one, and I'm sure they know this coming into like after practice rounds, but like you are basically playing your round, and then like hole 18 is almost something completely separate. Like
Yeah.
what your round is not, you know what I mean? Like it's just hole 18 was like a beast of its own. Like you're just playing like almost maintaining, you know, the first 17 holes, and then hole 18, you're like,
Yeah.
let's get me off of this hole as quickly as possible,
Yeah.
and do it a
It
little bit.
is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So here's a question for you because I know that this is a thing like even in our thoughts on course design
mhm,
is you and I both agree that we want to eliminate as much gimmick in course design as we can.
mhm,
Like that's kind of a thing in disc golf is sometimes there's like a weird, like quirky hole. Like my mind goes to Dragon Ridge. I love Dragon Ridge in Camdenton, Missouri. Have you ever been there? It's awesome. If you designed it and you're watching this, like I love your course, but I think the 20-foot tall elevated basket is dumb. Like the fact that I have to climb a ladder attached to a tree to retrieve my disc is silly in my opinion. Not because it's not fun. Like I get that. Like I get that there's a fun vibe, but like particularly on like the disc golf pro tour, you're making a professional type of event. We want to, like me and Cameron agree, like we want to eliminate gimmick and chance in our event and in our holes that we design. So my question to you, Cameron, is do you feel like hole 18 was gimmicky? Because I actually think it was not.
I would say no as well. Um, I think the shape of it is interesting to have that kind of that cutout. Like, I don't know if you saw it. They have like that cutout. You throw a tee shot and then you basically throw over OB.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I don't like
Into the
that
woods.
necessarily. You know what I mean?
Basically just force you to have a landing zone.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't that's the only thing I would see like just make that whole thing fairway, especially if the green is as hard to access as it showed it to be, this weekend. So,
Well, I honestly think the reason they did that, I think, is because it would have played too soft. Like
well,
that would have actually made it pretty soft, I think.
here's the thing. So Mint Discs, who obviously designed the
Yeah.
course and runs the course and whatever, came out with a statement because I haven't watched Jomez because I was watching the Sprinkle Valley, rounds live. But apparently the Jomez guys were kind of just dogging the course, or at least that hole, and I think hurt some feelings potentially. So they went, I think it was Reddit, um, just to kind of explain the hole. But I guess where they cut it off at the stairs to the island, if I'm remembering this right, it floods every so often, and so they just always play that as out of bounds because it can be quote unquote dangerous to either be on the stairs or inside of that should it be raining or whatnot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I don't think they were like super thrilled on the way it was perceived, but again, at the same time, everyone played it. You
Yeah, I guess I agree. And that's the thing is that gimmicks to me make it feel like there's luck or it's chance or it's something that's unnatural.
Mhm.
And I actually, again, I don't feel like anything they did was unnatural. I felt like they played a really difficult green within the bounds of the rules without making it stupid,
Well, and you want to know what's
in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, what I think is crazy here. I literally think if you move the basket to the middle of the island they have there, I honestly don't think you see that many.
Right, because you think people would have just jammed it across. If
Yeah,
they're like, if they're not going for birdie, they're like, I'll just jam it over there. Maybe I'll land on the island, but if I don't, I have a pretty routine putt
yeah,
that's not going to go straight out of bounds
right.
if I miss.
Because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
maybe.
if you go deep of the basket on that hole, it's even if you're in bounds, it's like a
Yeah,
forced layup, which I don't like there.
yeah. It's
Because if
forced layup, or if you airball, you're going out of bounds.
exactly that's what I mean. Yeah, like if
Yeah,
you miss the putt, you're probably going out of bounds.
yeah.
But so
No,
I mean,
I
there's
totally
a
get
couple
that.
things that I think, and granted, I'm not a course designer, so you know, you know,
Yeah, I mean, color me crazy, but I just didn't think that it was like. I think there are some holes that are like difficult and are made difficult and is like lucky. And that's part of what makes it difficult is you just kind of have to get lucky.
yeah,
And
and
I don't feel like that hole was like that.
no,
It was a very risk reward style hole. And if you wanted to lay up to the, and now I know people probably did that and still went out of bounds 5 times. I get that. But if you wanted to lay up to the edge of the out of bounds there, you could, and you had a pretty routine go over the top, at least in my mind, routine, as in I'm thinking about it in the Simon perspective of like, as long as I know I cross over the top, I'm fine.
yeah,
Like if I cross over inbound, I'm good. Yeah, sure, I'd lay up and get a bogey instead of a birdie, but like who cares?
yeah.
You know what I mean? And when other
So
guys are getting 12s,
yeah, but so let me riddle this here because you don't think that was a bad hole, do you?
I would not call that a bad hole.
So with the way that played and Northwood's Black, I think it's like hole 12.
Yeah, the one that was literally average a stroke. I think that's a way worse hole.
Really?
I think that's a way worse hole.
Well, and granted, I have a little bit there, like since I've been there. That and granted, I guess there was designated fairways at Sprinkle Valley, and there's no Island OB, but that hole is tight. But there are like you play to here, play to here, play to here. You know,
Yeah, but that's my problem with that one that I at least whenever I because you also went after the fact. Like you weren't there like at tournament time.
yeah,
But like at tournament time, the one that I saw, that hole in particular, I felt like brought in a bunch of like your shot could be good and you could still hit a tree that would redirect you 35, 50 feet left into a woods of nothingness. Just because you like hit your line, but there's still like a straggling tree here or a straggling tree here that's skinny. Like, yes, there's obviously fairways, but I felt like people got punished for way less playing Northwoods 12 rather than playing that hole.
yeah. Also, we never said this. I just remembered it, and I wanted to bring this up about hole 18 for those that don't know. For the FPO, it round one, it's a par five. It averaged 7.81. So almost three strokes over par
Did
average.
they tee off from the same place?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe a touch shorter, but not like 100 feet or anything like that.
sure.
Round two, it averaged an 8.55, which is 3.5 strokes over par average. And it says it makes it the single hardest hole in FPO Disc Golf Pro Tour history. So five birdies total through the two rounds, a total of 175 out of bounds shots. So
Out of bounds shots or out of bounds strokes?
out of bounds shots.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a lot.
Uh, yeah.
I don't have what it averaged for MPO.
31 players, 31 unique players carded tens or higher. So, and I think again, I would put the wind on it a little bit, but
Yeah.
that is unreal for a hole. You know what I mean?
I also hate, and this again, this is where I don't think it's the hole's fault, is because to get a 10, let's just think logically. Let's assume they didn't throw OB until they got to the stairs.
Hmm.
One shot off the tee, two shot into the woods. So that means they can go three out of bounds, four drop, five out of bounds, six drop, seven out of bounds, eight drop, pitch up to nine on the island, 10 is in the basket at minimum. That is one, two, three, four tries to try to actually land it on the fairway. That's not the course's fault that somebody kept on trying to land it on the island. That's the thing to me. Throw a fast disc over the top and get a double bogey and be done with it if you miss once. Stop trying to throw it and land on that is your fault that you did that.
Sure.
So you could have easily had 4 or 5 strokes less if you just jammed one over the back of the island. Yeah, you would have laid it up again and maybe got a 7 instead of a 10, but that's 3 strokes because you decided to keep being aggressive for no reason, or you got frustrated and just kept doing it without thinking. Whatever the case, that is the player's fault. That's not the hole's fault.
Yeah.
They just kept throwing frisbees.
Yeah.
There was an easy cop out. Throw it really hard at the back wall. You're going to go over the island. You're going to go out of bounds. Who cares? Because you're going to go to a drop zone and only lose one more stroke instead of 7. But that's just one man's opinion.
Sure. No, I mean, yeah, I definitely get that, but I I would definitely be surprised should that hole not see a redesign.
Oh, I honestly, with the way people are reacting, I'd be shocked if they go back to that course, which is a shame.
I bet they still go there, but I I don't know. It's
Yeah.
tough because on one hand, the top players in the world got throttled by this hole, but at the
Some of
same,
them. Some of them.
I I mean,
I don't know if you just heard what I said there. Out of the top five, two of the or three of the top five birdied it both holes, both rounds.
sure, yeah, but I would like to know how many people birdied it both rounds outside of top 10.
I don't
You
know. I don't
know,
have that stat.
right. But I'm just saying, I don't think a hole that plays that much over par.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what it played for NPO. Because FPO is one thing, but yeah, I don't know what the stats were for MPO, and I couldn't find it on Statmando.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I'm sure it'll come out here pretty soon. I am really excited for Tour Life this week because I'm excited to hear what Brody Smith has to say about it.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, I actually think he's going to love it. I
Uh,
think Paul Ulibarri and him are going to beef about it because Paul did not like it. Um, but I think Brody Loki is going to be like, "Hey," I think he's going to say the same thing. He's like, "There's an easy out, and you get a single, maybe a double bogey at worst. Okay, but
yeah.
that's way better than a 12." It's like it's the same exact thing with hole 11 or 12 or whatever it is at USDGC. It's like at some point, stop trying to throw it over the island, pitch off to the left, pitch up, and be done. Take your
Yeah.
medicine and stop. Or you need to be okay getting a 14. That's just how that is. So I
Yeah.
mean, I'm interested to see what tour life is like this week and see if Brody likes it or not. Because that's a real shame. Is like the Sprinkle Valley people actually called in a couple of months ago to Tour Life, and they were like, "Hey, the Tour Life guys put out like a poll, like, is there a way to have a profitable disc golf course like on private land?" And the Sprinkle Valley guy was like, "Heck yeah, there is." And he's like, "Yeah, this is the course that it is." And Sprinkle Valley, they mention it in coverage, but it's literally in the backyard of a brewery and in the backyard of Mint Disc headquarters.
Mm,
So it's like the ideal for customers and consumers in the Austin area. They go to a championship level course, they can get a beer and a burger with their buddies after the round, or go and shop for more discs that you inevitably lost in the woods. Like that's an ideal scenario, I feel like. So it's a shame that like if they don't go back there next year, it would I think that'd be a shame. I think it's a good hosting location. You know what I mean? Austin's
yeah.
a big city. They had food trucks, they had all this other stuff going on. Like I think for the players, it was still interactive and fun. You know, aside from hole 18, obviously. But
Yeah,
anyway,
that's tough too, maybe from a fan perspective that's trying to get autographs. You're like you're waiting.
Calvin just threw a 12 on 18. He's like, "Can I have your autograph?"
Yeah, you're like, all right, kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, tough tournament. I still think it was good, all things
Yeah, I
considered.
agree. I agree.
Um, but
What's the next one?
Music City in a couple weeks.
Oh, okay.
There's Go Throw at Persimmon Ridge, I think this coming weekend, and then
Is Andrew Presnell going to be in that one?
I don't know. To be honest with you,
I might need to make a trip down to Persimmon Ridge. See what happens.
I,
Andrew, if you're watching this and you're playing Persimmon Ridge, let me know. I
I
might
know
try to
Jake
make a trip
is.
down.
He's always down there, so you at
Oh
least
yeah. I'd like to just see the property. I know you've played it a couple times, so
it is so much fun. We got to go down there.
yeah.
Brother battle, or maybe
Brother
it's
battle down at Persimmon Ridge for sure.
summer month brother battle.
Yeah, for sure. I want to go to Harmony too for Brother Battle.
Ooh, yeah, yeah, we do need to do that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We're gonna move on here to a local tourney that happened this weekend. It was the PC 18 Open. Uh,
Cameron's nemesis.
honestly, I mean, well, actually, I was gone anyways, so that's why I didn't play it. But I wouldn't have played it anyways because I can't. I I'll never shoot well at that course. It doesn't matter how good I get. But we had several guys play. Starting in the MPO, one shout out Jackson Beckmeyer. There was no OB, so it played a lot easier. But
There was no OB.
no,
What?
OB was
Across
probably
any division?
no.
What?
Yeah, yeah,
That's so silly.
yeah. But so he ended up shooting 16 down over the 2 rounds. But
Wow.
even with no OB, like his first round was 7 down. His second round, wait, yeah, 7 down, 9 down. So I mean, that's still like
That's pretty
still
good.
super good. However, second place here, Nevada McAlpin. Like,
Come
yeah.
on, Nevada?
What's crazy is I see Jackson Beckmeyer. I've never met him. Probably couldn't pick him out of a crowd to be honest with you, but I see him up at the top a lot. He finished 16th.
Excuse me.
Nevada finished tied second at 9. So
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
he just popped off.
Yeah. He was
Um,
not going to be denied this victory.
no, but we had a couple more. Mitch Scott finished 8th, and Ben Lemon finished 9th.
Mitch
So
and Ben.
yeah, a couple top tens there, but shout out Nevada if you watch this. Solid event. I think he got the eagle on 6, Jacob.
Go on six.
Tight
Time I
par
need to
four.
recall. Oh, okay. Okay. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Got the
Yep.
eagle in round two on that one.
Nevada did.
Mhm.
Nice.
But
Did he ace the next hole though?
no.
Just kidding, Nevada. Just kidding. Just kidding.
I think MA won now. The Zeus, Tyler Zustiak, little
Tyler Zustiak?
second place finish, lost by a
Come
stroke.
on.
Yeah, yeah, it was a
Who
good
who
event.
won? Who won
Uh,
advanced?
Joel Koenig, he's an MSU guy. Um,
Sorry for mispronouncing that. Shout
yeah,
out to you though.
he finished nine down, so
Okay.
still, I mean, still really good out there. I don't, I shot under par the last time we played there because I had nine mulligans. Other than that, I've never shot under par there.
Yeah.
Um, Major finished fourth.
Although we usually play OB. If we didn't play OB, that'd be different.
Sure, yeah, that's true. Um, or no, Major finished tied third actually.
Let's go major.
And actually, we have a little OMD group chat with all the sponsored guys and myself. But he said that he's got, I think it's shoulder, elbow, I forget. Uh, but he was going lefty backhand instead of
No, he
forehand,
was not.
and
Who
to
is this guy?
yeah, a little third place action.
It's
So
crazy, actually.
yeah. And then we had Ezra Piper and Ryland Stanback finished tied seventh there. So
Go.
yeah, we
Shout
got
out to the boys. We
yeah.
love you guys, man. You guys
I
are
think
legends.
oh, we had Davis. He finished 12th in MA2, and I believe that's it for us. Yeah. Oh no, Drew Irwin finished seventh in MA3.
Let's go, Drew. Come on, dude.
Yeah. And
Why don't you get out? Am I just gonna have to come out of retirement here for a second? I
let me know because
think we say. I think we say this every week
I'm ready to play tournaments, but it probably won't be
for a
until
bit.
mid-April, I'm guessing, which kind of segues into our next thing,
Yeah.
50 states here.
Yeah.
Um, it's about time for me to go back out. We had wave
Yeah.
one done. Uh,
Yeah.
North Carolina came out Friday. We got Tennessee coming this coming Friday. So yeah, I'm ready to go back out, honestly. And it's funny, I'm in Colorado, but I'll actually be back in Colorado in just a couple weeks coming to play. So it's kind of interesting there. But I always feel weird because part of me wants it to be like a secret where I'm going, but part of me also wants to just be like, here's where I'm going. So what do you think here?
I think you definitely should tell people where you're going.
All right,
I don't
so
understand the secrecy.
I don't know. It just makes where's the next one? You know what I mean? I don't know. But
All you're saying is like a cardinal direction.
sure. Well, but this one I'm making a big circle, so it's kind of
Sure,
everywhere.
this is a long trip. This is a big trip.
Yeah, it's not the longest, but it's probably the second, I'm guessing, by the end. But I'm going west, general. We're hit southwest, we'll hit northwest, and then obviously circle back through kind of Colorado. I think Kansas will be the last one I play on this trip, coming back through. And actually, side note, which I think that's another 12 courses down. So by the time I finish this one, we'll be at 22 of 50. So almost halfway done, which is kind of
It's
nuts.
crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah, and I believe I said it. Well, I guess this will come out in the Tennessee video, so I won't spoil anything there. But um, man, what was I just talking about? 12. We're almost
22 videos.
yeah, almost halfway done, um, which is insane. And then I'll probably go back out like mid-May again and get a few more, and then I'll probably like finish it up, like take like a month and a half. Uh, just the Northwest, the
We'll
Northeast
take the longest.
will take the longest for sure. I think there's going to be like 18 or something like that, 18 or 19. So I'll probably like it'll be like pushing a month, I'm guess that I'll be
Yes,
gone.
but you'll probably have to like take rest days and like not do anything.
Yeah, I'll definitely have rest days between this next trip because like even like Arizona to where I'm going in California is like 14 hours.
Oh, oh,
But so and it's funny the way I've been tracking this. So uh where I'll be at in California and where the course is at in Nevada, literally could not be more directly in between that. is Yosemite. So I will be taking a day or two probably to scale El Capitan, most likely.
No, no big deal.
Yeah, yeah. But
We so low.
yeah, but we're moving and it's fun.
Yeah,
So
awesome.
um, I think that's it.
Yeah. Well,
You
real
got an
quick,
item for me today or no? We don't have
yeah,
it.
we've got 3 minutes left on our meeting, so we gotta make it quick here. I have got one, two, three, four, five. I've got six disc crates
Okay.
that somebody is selling. He's listed the individual price, or you can buy in bulk. So give me an
Double
individual
point.
price or what the buying in bulk price would be.
I'm going I'm going $20 a piece
Mm.
and
Do you
bulk.
want me to read you the description?
Yeah, go ahead.
I have, oh, there's actually eight. I'm sorry. There's only six in that picture, but there's eight total. I have eight disc golf totes. They can stack interlocking when full of discs, so they can actually stack. Great, secure, and safe storage option. Disc not included, shown in photos for demonstration purposes only in some of the other pictures.
Bummer.
Yeah. So there's actually eight total.
8. So it's gonna be. I'm still gonna go $20 a piece. I'm gonna
Okay.
go. His deal is 150. He takes $10 off because it's even 150.
He wants a little bit more, unfortunately. Eight totes, he wants 40 individually,
Whoa.
or 240 for all of them.
Do we have
So he
dimensions?
basically, do I have dimensions? This is how many discs they can fit in them. It's like the one that I used to have in the back of my car. They're pretty big. You see it?
I mean, that's probably.
This is them with discs in them.
I bet that's 50 at least if you're going side to side.
Yeah.
We're standing them up. But
Yeah.
well,
Anyway, that's all I got. That's the price wrong.
so he basically doubled me.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. I don't know. If
It
you're
is what it
looking
is.
for boxes, you found your guy.
Go to that guy. New posting. He's in Olathe, Kansas. Or Olathe? Olathe? I
I
don't
think
know.
it's a lathe.
Olathe? Sure.
I don't know.
All right. Hey, thank you guys for following along with us. Wish Cameron safe travels, and we will see you guys in the next one. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Ozark Mountain Discs to the moon. We'll see you later.